This is 8 Minutes of Awesome. I'm Jennifer Lipsky. The term shaman has been in use for centuries, although in practice it undoubtedly existed long before. Its etymology means to know. And speaking with me today is Darren Maxwell, a psychic shaman based in Australia. Hi, Darren.
Hello, Jennifer. How are you?
Very well, thanks. And thanks for sharing this time with me today.
Oh, thank you for making the opportunity available.
Darren, I was looking at your website, which has a great name, Modern Urban Shamanism.com. I'd like you to share about some of the work that you do.
Modern urban shamanism is related to connecting the old with the new. I work with people who work normal jobs, they live in normal houses, they have normal lives, but they want to know more about where spirituality comes from and how they can take the wisdom of the past and make it useful in their present so that they can become connected with the old ways and be part of a new world order, so to speak. The term modern urban shamanism is self-explanatory to that point. It isn't for people who go searching through old techniques. It is for people who are ready to embrace new ways of thinking. The best way to explain it, I think, is that modern urban shamanism is applied quantum physics of today. We are now in a world where education, communication, things that have never been are now available to everyone. So we have people that finish university today or finish college today are not the same as we were 100 years ago. They're not the same as we were 500 years ago. So those people are more tuned to question. They're more tuned to seek and look deeper. And so that's what modern urban shamanism does. It addresses those level of questions for people. And I like to call them the hardest questions in the world to answer, because those are the quantum physics questions are the hardest questions in the world to answer. How do we put this great big grand universe together in one tiny little mind and work it out? Very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and it seems like answers are available to us. I mean, for millennia, people have connected with the earth and with their dreams and with the spirit world, and there was this kind of availability or connection with that inherent knowledge.
Mm,
Do you feel
mm.
that with today's technology, do you feel that it's a help or a hindrance? What is your feeling about how people can access those sources, those natural sources?
It's definitely a help. Technology and communication helps people open to the potential that is available. Then the personal experience takes over. So to be able to connect with the dream world, to be able to connect with the dream time, as we call it in Australia, to be able to connect with nature as it has always been, then becomes a personal experience. And that's one of the challenges for people, because it becomes a devotion. Not Shamanism is a calling and a devotion. It isn't a weekend workshop. It isn't something you can read in a book. It's a lifestyle that you have to you have to live.
Hmm.
And so what occurs is, just through modern connection, we get switched on to the old ways. And once we're switched on, then it starts to take over. And then, as I found in my experience, the spiritual energy that I received through the land, through the trees, through the animals, through the water, connected to me and taught me lessons that I could never have learnt any other way than being on the side of a river, or being on the top of a mountain, or being in with the animals and listening to them speak, or feeling the trees vibrate. These are the experiences that a shaman has at a cellular level. So it is a commitment, and it is something that you can take time away from your normal life to experience. And even in the suburbs, when you're in your own home and you may have had a big day at work and you come home slightly frustrated or slightly switched off from the spirit world completely, it does not take much when you use these practices to turn back on and be reconnected. One of the things we're lucky with in Australia is we still have traditional people and traditional elders living the way they have for thousands of years in the outback of Australia. So the energy is still floating around, it's still there, and it's not impossible to connect. So you can even do that from your lounge room. As long as you've got your TV switched off, of course, you can do that because it is there in the energy for you to connect with the ways of the old people. Mm.
Yeah, so it sounds like you've drawn for your whole life inspiration from nature and from earth and the animals, from the water, everything. I'm wondering if you could share if there was a pivotal experience in your formative years that really brought you, it was kind of, where it really opened your eyes to, wow, this is what I need to do. This is my soul's purpose, and I need to do this. Was there an experience you could
There
share?
was two pivotal experiences, I suppose. One was just before I was becoming a teenager. I was 12 years old, and I spent a week, not isolated, but with only a couple of friends on an isolated area of an island in the middle of Murray River. And I was able to watch, because it was a survival weekend, so I was able to watch the way nature worked to provide me with the food I would need and to keep me comfortable. And it was on one specific night where we had a high tide in the ocean and we had a big flow in the river, that the river rose up. It actually threatened the tent we were in. The river rose up. I was a bit concerned that we were going to be flooded out. But in the morning when we woke up, all around us in the reeds of the river were fish. They'd all been caught in the reeds because of the flood, and some of these fish were very big fish. And I suddenly realised that the seasons and the tides would provide me with food if I knew where the seasons and the tides would occur. So that at 12 years old, I started to look into that more deeply. Then as I grew up and got married and had multiple children, life changed, work changed, pressure got so much that I'd let go of all that stuff, and I'd just become a working man who was worried about his mortgage and worried about his job and all those sorts of things. And it was then I was lucky, and it was fairly late in life. I was 36 years old, and I had a spirit guide come to me and deliver me messages. And at first I thought, oh no, this isn't the way things are supposed to be. Something's going wrong here. But eventually it worked out that, yes, I was reconnecting with my old ways. I was reconnecting with a part of me that I hadn't been connected with for some time. My grandmother was a psychic and a tea leaf reader, and then she came to me and helped me understand that, no, this is a natural connection that you have, and not to be scared of it. But the spirit guide turned out to be not a human form, but an energetic form. Shamans don't see things in shape, we see things as energy. So this was the energy of the environment, I suppose, the energy of the environment. I've come to call the spirit guide Flying Eagle because in my limited understanding, it's easier for me to see a picture than it is to just see energy. And so at that moment, that was a very pivotal moment. And the spirit guide took me through an initiation that gave me confidence and strength and wisdom beyond anything I had ever understood before. And so that has helped me on the last 20 years of my journey, and helped me share my story of shamanism and the stuff I've learnt from Flying Eagle with other people. I was also given an oracle, which makes it easy, because shamanism is about divination at the end of the day. We're divining between two worlds, between the world of spirit and the world of the physical. So that's what a shaman is always doing. They're always communicating between the soul energy, or however you want to call it, God energy, soul energy, however you like to see it. We're always communicating. And when you get given a tool to be able to do that and sense a level of accuracy within that tool, you feel more secure in your own understanding. So that's what Flying Eagle gave me. So when I do divination, I have a way of being able to make sure that my divination is accurate, which, coming from my trade background and engineering background, is something that I need, because I don't just believe, I have to have proof, which is sometimes a bit of a problem, but it's worked. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing those stories as part of your journey. And I would like to know, Darren, if there is a certain message, if there was one thing that you could share with people today, what would that one message be?
The message is of hope, but it ends up as more than hope. It ends up as reuniting, reconnecting, and becoming part of the whole, becoming part of your community. If you can't be part of the natural environment, if you can't get out into the outback or out into a country estate and relax and connect with the animals, and you don't have those farm properties, connect with your community, connect with the people in your community, and share your natural connection with them. Because the world is growing bigger. There is 7 billion people on the planet now, and we will hit 50 billion at some stage. So it's important that we understand, as much as connection with animals and as much as connection with plants and as much as connection with the great Mother Earth is important, connection with other people on a soul level connection is really important too. Because when you connect with someone else's soul, you become part of a bigger soul energy. It's interesting that when people are trying to find relationships, they're looking for a soulmate. And often I explain to people, when they're telling me in readings about their friends or people that they've met on their life, and they tell me this deep connection that they've had, and I say, would that be a soulmate? And they don't get that it isn't just about a partner, it's actually about friends can be deeply connected at a soul level. But we don't call our friends soulmates. Maybe we should do that. That's the message. Connect with more people, love more people, feel their heart, feel their soul, feel their energy. Feel their pain if you can. If you can't feel their pain, share their pleasure.
Beautiful message. Thank you so much, Darren Maxwell. And for those who would like to connect with Darren, you can do so through his website, modernurbanshamanism.com. Thank you, Darren.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. For me as well.